Hi guys, isn't it interesting that MPs, when in opposition, suddenly find the time to raise issues that are on the minds of their constituents, but not for some reason when they're in government? Anyway, Robert Jenrick, along with Robert Jenrick friendly GB News, have put out a number of videos where the Tory MP and former minister walks the streets of Britain asking people about what's wrong with their communities. In this episode, he discussed the problem of litter and fly tipping, which is where people just leave rubbish on the side of the street or hidden off it. This is a huge problem that needs to be tackled for environmental, health, and legal reasons. But the fact that Honest Bob is bringing it up is somewhat ironic, and I'll explain why in just a moment.
Time and again, people keep complaining to me that Britain's streets are covered in litter. So I've come here to Handsworth in Birmingham to see for myself. And these are some of the filthiest streets in the country. People should not have to live like this. The people who are doing this are getting away with it, and the council seems to be doing absolutely nothing. If you think this is bad, wait till you see what happened around the corner the other day.
Filth, piled high on a residential street and left there for days on end. This is how some people are living in parts of Britain today. This vandalism of our streets can't continue. This is the scene of that fly tipping. Months later, it still looks like a complete disgrace. It's literally got so bad that there's tyres, dirty underwear lying on the street, and the Labour Council is doing nothing about it. Fly tipping and littering is rife in Birmingham. Good, law-abiding Brits are furious that their streets are being trashed by a minority of people who have no respect for their communities.
I find it's disgusting. They all get brought up and not live in pigsties.
What do you think we should be doing to stop it?
People should take responsibility, but people haven't got pride in anything of today. I do think...
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the first ironic aspect of this is Robert Jenrick here, between 2019 and 2021, was in the government. And can you imagine what his role was? What was his job in the Tory administration? Well, he was the Communities and Housing Minister. So he was responsible for housing and communities, and now he's complaining about, look at the trash in these communities. Why is there all this rubbish in the streets? He was responsible. This rubbish did not suddenly appear since Labour got into power. This has been a problem for many years. Now, why is it a problem? Well, there are two reasons in particular. One is the councils don't have enough funding to pick up the rubbish. And second, there aren't enough police officers to enforce fines against people littering or fly tipping. That's part of the problem. Now, why don't the councils have enough money, and why are there not enough police officers? Well, for example, there was a vote in 2020, 29th of January 2020, Policing and Crime, recruit more officers, neighbourhood policing. Well, which way do you think Robert Jenrick voted? Well, obviously he voted for more police officers, right? 2,000 more frontline officers. This was a vote put forward by the Labour Party at the time. Well, you can see here, every single Tory voted against it. Every single Tory. You know, even some DUP voted against it as well. The Labour Party voted in favour of it. The SNP voted in favour of it. The SDLP, Liberal Democrats, and the Greens, they voted for more police officers, and Robert Jenrick and his party voted against it. Okay, but it gets worse. If we look at his voting record in general, we can see here, generally voted against more powers for local councils. So in this clip that he uploaded to social media, he was complaining about a local council not doing enough. Well, then why did you vote against more powers for local councils? He also consistently voted for reducing central government funding for local government. So once again, taking away the ability of councils, financially or through powers, to deal with this problem. Being a government minister for a number of years who was responsible for making sure that councils and communities were able to deal with this problem, and voting against a measure to improve the policing of these communities to ensure that people who do litter are held accountable. And now what is he doing? In opposition, he's going to these streets, filming these things and posting on social media going, look how terrible Britain is at the moment. And who is responsible? Well, it's obviously the Labour Party, the Labour Council or the Labour government. Nothing to do with me, nothing to do with 14 years of austerity and Tory rot. This guy is a charlatan. But unfortunately, the people who are inclined to vote for people like this will look at this and go, yes, it's Labour's fault. Oh, look at the people in their community. The lady who was interviewed, she was blaming the people. Now, of course, nobody should be littering. It's a disgraceful behaviour. But we need to use carrot and stick. You need to incentivize people not to do it, and you also need to punish people who do. But you can't punish people if you don't have the police officers. You can't clean up the streets sufficiently if the councils don't have the money. So Tory politicians have some neck going to these communities and complaining about problems that they themselves created or helped create. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.